when you went back and watched the film, what did you like about your defensive effort against Arizona State, and what prevented you in some of those moments like the Sims big run?
I thought our attitude and effort and maybe our pursuit to the ball was the best it's been for a handful of weeks. Thought our guys' intent, our preparation last week was, I was talking to a couple recruits on the phone, and, they're at house practice. Practice was incredible, and thought our guys prepared and played really well for the majority of the game. We let a handful of plays fundamentally get away from us the long run. It's 11-man football when that guy's running the ball, and sometimes you only got one guy to get him down, and that was the case for a couple plays. And the one pass play they got on us, we just missed. We'd moved some guys around, missed the assignment there. But overall, I thought our guys, played pretty well, to be honest.
And obviously, as a guy who's been coaching for a long time, many years as a head coach at Youngstown, having football be a part of your life for so long, what was that moment like when you saw Ben go through his scary situation?
Yeah, I think it just, I think it gives you, as I told the team afterward, the defense afterwards, it just reminds you that everything's fragile. Like, we get lost in a game and a win or a loss or a statistic, and for all of us, all of a sudden it kind of just, man, it's just a game. Those are humbling moments for sure, but it's just a good reminder for all of us that we coach a game, and people are what make the game important.
Yeah, how have you seen, kind of your guys, I guess, just manage the emotions of a 4-game losing streak?
I think they've been awesome, to be honest. As awesome as you can be. Everybody's, I share with our guys a couple times. We had a sign outside the locker room when I was at West Point, and it said, that I'm hurt, but I'm not slain. I'm gonna lay down, bleed a while, and rise up and fight again. And that was outside the locker room every day when you went in and out of the locker room. And I think that's where we are. Like, yeah, it hurts. Our guys are invested. This building is invested. And whenever you're invested in something and you don't get a result, why, that hurts. The other side of that is we got great humans in this building, and you just rally up and go fight again. And, I think that's been their mantra, their attitude, their effort. The guys in this building last week, yesterday, studying the game plan, studying film, it's been really incredible to be around. So, I think that's kind of how we've approached it. That's what I learned. I saw that sign in 1990, and I've never forgotten it. And, had good seasons and not so good seasons, and tough games and good games, and it's still the same thing. Like, you got to go back to work and rally back up.
And what's the motivation to do that, you think, to get back?
Oh, the guys that are here doing it you're with, the people. That's the motivation. The guy next to you, the coaches in the locker room. For us, the coaches, the guys next to us, the guys that work hard. That's the motivation. You don't want to let those guys down. That's my motivation every day. I want to give them the best opportunity to have success they can, and I think they believe in each other. And and at the same point, our fans, this university, the department, everybody. It's you're fighting for everything. And I think that's always motivation. If you're made of the right stuff, it is.
Coach, in your almost decade here, there's obviously been some lows mixed in with the highs. Mm-hmm. What have you learned in those moments that can maybe be used in this last 3-game stretch?
Well, I don't think anything different than any other place or any other time. I think the reality, I think when things aren't going good, I think human nature is selfish, and it's got to be somebody else's fault. And I think the blessing for me coming in this building for 10 years, I've never walked in here after a tough loss and felt like everybody in this building, to a person, felt like, man, they were responsible. That's not everywhere. And I've been blessed to be in a lot of locker rooms like that and coaches' rooms like that. And, I just feel like, I think you walk in this building on a Sunday after a tough loss, and every human being in here felt like it was their fault. That's a cool way to live. That's how you roll. But I don't, I think anywhere I've ever been, kind of the same. Like I said, I saw that sign in 1990, and it kind of covered me forever. Like, that's that's what you got to do. And it's really true even when you win. You know, I've been 6-0, 5-0 here, with 6-0 a couple different times, 8-0, and things are going great. You better realize the same thing. Like, you better just keep working and grinding, because, you know, it's just a game, and the next one's going to be important, and that's how you have to roll. And I don't think I mean, I wake up every morning at 4:45 and get showered and come in here and start watching videotape. And if we were winning, I'd be doing that. If we weren't winning, I'm doing that. So I think the key is keep your habits and keep working. And again, we're in a building here that everybody is grinding away and trying to find every angle they can find.
One thing that I've noticed this year that's been a trend for your defense is allowing touchdowns after the Cyclone offense scores a touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
As you watch the tape, what have you noticed in those moments that's led to that becoming a reoccurring issue?
I just think, we let two passes get out of the way. We missed a check on one. Another one, the guy made a good play. I think we approach it, we talk about it, but I don't live on it. I think sometimes it's just the way it happens, and I think the mindset of the other team, hey, we got to go back and score, and the mindset of a defense is you got to go back out and get them stopped. And I don't think our guys ever really relax or any of that kind of thing. We let a couple balls get get away from us the other day. A couple big plays and a couple pass reads, that we thought were runs and they weren't. And those are just some kind of fundamental things that we're going through right now.
How frustrating is it to have to deal with the randomness of the sport and that seemingly kind of happened randomly to you guys over and over again this season?
Say that, I don't know if I understand what you're asking.
You mentioned there how, sometimes it's random that a team just scores after Iowa State scoring. How frustrating is it to deal with the randomness of the sport just going against you guys defensively in those instances?
Yeah, I don't ever I don't ever look at it like it's against us or whatever. I think it's our job. I tell our guys, and it's been this way since I started coaching defense and my high school coach, and if they don't score, we can't lose. And I believe in that. I strive for that every day. Since we walked in this building 10 years ago, everybody said you couldn't play defense in this conference, and I chose to say that we could. And we've played some great defense here. But I think it becomes a mindset of how you approach it and what you can do. And, I just think that I don't ever get frustrated by it. It's part of this game. You got to get on to the next thing. It's got to be a small blip, and you got to move. You got to think to the next series, and, how can you get them stopped the next time? And if it was a play you hadn't practiced or hadn't seen before, you got to figure out get with your guys to solve the problems. But, I don't know that stuff ever really frustrates me. I think we try to figure out how to solve the issues.
Complementary football is a big theme in this program, and it was evident in that 5-0 start. What do you think has been the biggest thing preventing you guys from having that type of synergy over these last 4 games?
Oh, well, good question, I guess. I think we're all searching kind of for some of the answer. I think some of the, first of all, you got to give some respect to the teams that you're playing. That's fair. I think the opponents that you play have something to do with how you play. We're not hiding from anyone anymore at this place. There was a time probably we could do that, or you could do that. Here, you're not hiding. Everybody wants to beat you. And I think, again, when you had a year like we had, we talked about it with our guys in the summer, you're going to be down 14 before the game ever starts. And that's not changing just because you got some guys hurt. It's actually, now they now we can beat them by more than that. So I think it's just an approach that your guys have to take. I think the whole process of trying to build a team and get yourself going, and, the complementary football, we've just had some injuries in some spots that are just real. They're not excuses, but they are real. And so we're working through them all and trying to find other avenues and other ways to get possessions, other ways to get the ball back. We hadn't gotten a turnover for 3 games until the other night. We have to get turnovers in order to have good defense to help your complementary offense. You have to get some turnovers and do your part on defense. So it's a little bit of everything. I think probably that's part of the blessing, and some of it is just real. But I think our guys have continued to work, and we'll hit stride here, and we'll continue to do the best that we can with the guys that are in that locker room fighting like crazy. And I'm proud to be their coach. I watched that game the other day and was on the sideline. I feel for them. We let some things we played as I told them after the game. We played good enough to win and good enough to lose. And you can't leave it that way in this conference. You have to play good enough to win, period. And, I feel for them because I watch how hard they work. So I'm excited about this group, excited about the challenge ahead. It's going to be a really tough game against a really tough team, and honestly can't wait to get our guys on the plane and go play.